Hey everyone, Nix here. MTN and Vodacom operate under some pretty dodgy circumstances. And then for me to find out that over a 6-month period, national and provincial government spent R500 million, 491 million rand to be exact, paying for their services. And if you've even so much as glanced at the open secrets who owns South Africa, Telecom's report, you won't be able to walk away from this and pretend like everything's fine. So here is the scoop and the horrifying truths about internet shutdowns, government interference, and then a bit more detail about that 491 million rand bill, which you and I will be paying for. So let's quickly go over Vodacom and MTN and just understand who owns them, what their profit looks like, and what some of the controversies are for these two telecom giants. Vodacom is foreign-owned, well-connected politically, huge profits, and outside of South Africa, they're pretty controversial. MTN is Africa's giant, lucrative, politically entangled, and frequently caught up in various shutdown disputes. Shame a little telecom scrambling to modernize. But honestly, do they even have the skill or budget to do the research about internet shutdowns? So Vodacom is majority owned by Vodafone, UK-based, but they still have government ownership sitting at 12.2%. That comes from the Government Employee Pension Fund, as well as another 5.5% coming from Yebo Yesu, which is a BEE vehicle. Other people who own Vodafone, Vodacom, BlackRock, Vanguard, etc. And knowing a bit more about that, I do wonder how the Elon Starlink partnership worked, considering that it's a Vodafone-based company involved with BlackRock and Vanguard, which are huge giants in the USA. Something very interesting and worth noting is that Vodacom came from an original 1994 partnership involving Vodafone, Telkom, and Venfin. And Venfin is part of the Rupert's family, Rupert's son, actually. Interesting, isn't it? Meanwhile, MTN, publicly listed as a South African company, but the Public Investment Corporation, also a government entity, is the largest shareholder. Then we have BlackRock, Allan Gray, Sanlam, and some other large institution investments. So Vodacom, mostly foreign, and that means the dividends flow offshore. Profits are not invested back into South Africa. For 2025, Vodacom reported 19.8 billion rand profit. I mean, imagine if a government institution, an SOE, reported a 19.8 billion rand profit. We wouldn't have to pay tax. Meanwhile, MTN, the prior year, I don't have their 2025 numbers. 2024, 9.95 billion. Highly influenced by the exchange fluctuations in Nigeria, MTN is described as a profit machine whose operations rely heavily on government relationships across Africa. So, MTN, being a South African listed company, makes more from the rest of Africa than from South Africa, especially Nigeria. Very interesting. The political connections for these two telecom conglomerates. A chairman who is an ANC veteran, Saki Mokozoma, who was also the former MD of Transnet. Board member, Puti Mayonyela, CEO of Naspers SA, previously Ramaphosa's Shanduka Group CEO, which is a Cyril Ramaphosa foundation. Vodacom also has numerous government deals, SAPS apps, Ukuruleni municipality apps, rural school Wi-Fi, national treasury deals for government employee data and devices. Then we have MTN. Political connections are described as central to its business model. See, in 2002, MCell rebrands as MTN Group. Cyril Ramaphosa begins his term as MTN chairperson. He stepped down in March 2013 after he was elected deputy president. So MTN's relationship with the government is notable, particularly the company's close ties to the African National Congress through its board of directors. Yes, which currently includes former Deputy Finance Minister Mcebezi Jonas as its chairman, who was also the gentleman Cyril wanted to send as part of the South African representation when the trade talks fell apart. So the controversies around these two brands. Vodacom Congo participated in an internet shutdown during the Kabila presidency, resulted in severe human rights consequences, and the shutdown was executed on government orders. They also have tax disputes. Vodacom Congo faced heavy tax claims and had accounts frozen, parts of broader political, economic patterns in the DRC. MTN has been accused of enabling surveillance or complying with shutdown orders in several countries: Uganda, Sudan, and Iran historically. MTN's dependency on government licenses creates incentives to comply with political orders. The one is just washing the other one's hand. A relatively well-known case is the Nigeria fines, huge multi-billion-dollar fines for SIM registration issues. MTN sits with the most widespread shutdown controversies in Africa. So you can almost see why nobody wants to bring up BEE and how it's ruining profits. The one company just takes its profits offshore. They don't really have to deal with any of this. The other company makes more from all of the African countries than South Africa. So, not really interested. So let's take a quick look at how much the government has given MTN and Vodacom, and for what. And why are there so many duplicates every single month? We really do need some sort of control in the spending and the ferocity of spending in national and provincial government. And while I go through this list, remember this excludes SOEs and local municipalities. This is provincial and national government alone. 6 months of the 2025 financial year. Let's ramble, guys. So let's take a look at some of these crazy purchases, the ones that sit in the millions. Eastern Cape Health Department, 4 different purchases, 2 to Vodacom, 2 to MTN, 44.3 million rand. Gauteng e-government, 47.7 million rand. See, KZN House, 4 line items, 19.3 million rand. Office of the Premier, 3.9 million rand. And Public Works, 2 million rand. That's all KZN. Sports, Arts and Culture, 2.4 million rand. And KZN Transport, 7.1 million rand. Limpopo House, 11 million rand. 11 million rand. Bringing us to a grand total of 491 million rand. So what's the big takeaway? South Africa's big industries, the private industries listed on the JSE, the ones owned internationally, they're working hand in hand with the government. Each and every one of them are deeply tied to politics, global capital, and of course, power. See, the thing is that we need to ask, is like with all of this, who's actually being served? All of that to MTN and Vodacom, but so little work is being done. So little value add is being given back to the people paying these bills. And yeah, just to think that 500 million of our hard-earned money went to Vodacom and MTN. But they're both complicit in human rights violations. So it just seems a little crazy that R500 million of our rand is given to these two conglomerates, which turn out to be just as dodgy as the ANC. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. That is my ramble, guys. I hope you found it insightful. I enjoyed having you with me. Shout out to Nikki and Paul, members of the Nick Rambles Club. You are welcome to join at $14.99 a month, the price of a small Coke. All those details is in the description of this video. I hope you have a fantastic day. Don't forget how amazing you are. Don't forget that the people out there are not the same as the haters on X. Have a good one, guys.